Cheers everybody, what's going on? This is your host Oliver Nye. Welcome back to my new YouTube channel. And today we're gonna do something a little special, a little different. This is gonna be the first video of a series where we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna look at some of the raw, uncut footage that I've been shooting over the years. And one of the things that I've got to benefit greatly from over the past decade is being able to go back and relive these special moments, and most importantly, learn from them. It's just like watching film in any sport: basketball, football, baseball, and in this case, trophy bass fishing. There's been an incredible amount of information that I've been able to observe once I actually step out of that moment and watch it from a critical and analytical perspective. And I've been able to identify so many things that are happening in that moment: mechanics, fish behavior, human behavior, and been able to make adjustments and thus learn from it. We're just gonna hang out, eat some beef jerky, watch some old school footage, and relive the dream. And we're gonna go back in time here. This is in the early 2000s. We are out on Lake Paris, big secret, with two of my boys. And in the back deck, you can't really see them in this clip because back then I was really only running one GoPro. And I come from very humble beginnings, so the fact that I could even afford a GoPro at the time, and mind you, this is so early on in the GoPro era that most guys, I would go out on a limb here and say that nobody in California that fished even knew what a GoPro camera was at this time. So I've always tried to be ahead of the curve and utilize tools to better capture this content and these experiences, hence this super cool insert of myself into the video. But you know, part of trying to blaze my own trail is really having to really learn on my own, and that really speaks for my fishing style and my filmmaking style, and it really speaks to my lifestyle now, because really there hasn't been a precedence in many of the things that I've set out to accomplish and attempt to accomplish. Learning by experience is still the best way to learn. I hope you guys can understand that, but the second best is to learn from somebody else's mistakes, and that's why we're here today. And that's why we're going to be doing this series of videos here on this channel. So if you haven't already, subscribe to this new channel, turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on anything. I'm not going to be able to pump out a ton of quantity on this channel like we were on the Big Bass Streams channel, which you should be subscribed to as well, because there's going to be continued content from myself and a bunch of other creators, all with meaningful content. So stay tuned to both channels. Subscribe to everybody that contributes to it, man. The Big Bass Stream team is comprised of some amazing fishermen, great individuals, even better people. Everybody has something to contribute to the platform and back to the culture now. Let's jump into this day here. So this is Southern California, Lake Paris. I got two of my boys on the boat here. One is my longtime fishing buddy, Carnell Lee, aka Dimension. He was my co-star in our reality show, Breaking Bass, that was on that Go90 network. Too bad Verizon dropped the ball and let that whole platform flop. But anyways, and right there also on the front deck is somebody that I have an incredible amount of respect for. His name's Rafael Rossi. He's out of Northern California, and this man is a multi-species animal, catches giants of all kinds, and especially largemouth bass. I want to say his PB is a 1712 on the big bait. So big ups to my man Rafael. It's been way too long since him and I shared a boat. I was this close to linking up with him when I passed through NorCal the last time, right before that big Australia trip. So we're gonna make it a point to get him back out on one of the dream machines in 2020 and sling some big baits. Well, Rafael is an accomplished trophy hunter, and those perspectives that he has definitely translated to his trophy bass fishing game. So we're going to talk about the glide bait. At this point in my trophy bass fishing career, I'd been fishing a glide bait for about a month now, and really trying to learn the nuances of this genre of bait. At the time, I had been whacking fish on the Jerry Rago Gladiator in the 9-inch size initially, and then the 11-inch size that he came out with right afterwards. But Rafael was really the first person that showed me the Japanese style glide baits, and he had with him. But Rafael had brought down an old school bucket, like Southern California jig bucket style, and on the rim of that bucket were a bunch of big Japanese hard baits. Glide baits in particular. They had with them a Roma-made mother with Manabu, who holds the record tying largemouth out of Japan. I think he swapped them some big rare US hard baits in exchange for that mother. So his was the first mother that I had ever seen in person, and here this is the first time I'd actually seen a Deps 250 in person. So this was totally on the front wave of this glide bait revolution, which seems to continue to gain traction now, even with guys like Brandon Polinick and Carl Jacobson successfully utilizing them on the big tournament stages. It's a very fun genre of bait and a very effective one. We're just gonna go through this video here and talk about the very first time I had seen a Deps 250, the first time I had seen a fish caught on the Deps 250. And early in this figuring out the puzzle with these new style baits, he was one of the first ones to explain to me that in Japan, the swimming motion is built into the mechanics of the glide bait itself. And here, he gets bit fairly close to the boat, and I could tell it's a good fish. Right, this is a 9+ pound class fish. There's my man Dimension with the net, always looking fly. My man's always looking good no matter where he goes, no homo. And you know, you gotta stay fitted. But this is a big moment for me, because I was like, okay, this is an upper 9-pound class fish, and I think it weighed like 910 or 912, something in that range, just under a double digit. And I thought that the feathers were kind of interesting on the hooks, but if a 9+ pound fish is going to commit on that bait and that presentation, it pretty much it's always cool to bask in the moment of success with your boys, man. That's what it's all about. But to me, that validated that whole concept with the feathered treble hooks, and really I thought it was interesting that once that bait made it stateside, that everybody took the feathers off. But we'll go down that conversation path another time. So,
hey, you know what's funny? Is she was following that bait in. It hit you like right here.
But yeah, back in this time frame, there was no US avenue to acquire these baits, so I had to actually jump on the internet. Now this is a time when ordering stuff on the internet was almost kind of dicey. You didn't know if some of these shops were legit. The tracking was kind of wonky. And frankly, you just didn't know when your bait would show up, or how it would show up, or if it would show up. You know, this experience here with Rafael and him showing me this whole new bait really gave me the confidence to make a big purchase, because at the time, you know, I mean, gosh, all these big baits are expensive. So hopefully you guys can find some similar insight through all the content that I generate, that the Big Bass Streams team generates on the Big Bass Streams YouTube channel. And it can help shorten that learning curve, because going throughout my fishing career, I was always in search of that next thing, right? Trying to maintain that edge, trying to be ahead of the curve. And I spent a lot of money, and honestly wasted a lot of money on a bunch of baits that didn't end up working for me. If we can help eliminate that for some of you guys that support what I do, support what we do with Big Bass Streams, that's the whole point of us even doing all of this. Is I'm at a point now in my career where I want to give back to the community. I want to give back to the culture. There's some rad people out there, man, and guys that are just coming into trophy bass fishing that may not understand what they're getting themselves into, or just the new fishermen in general, man. It's just maybe you can find some insight and some inspiration in some of the really cool things that we've been able to live and capture and share with you here on these platforms. I apologize if I'm kind of rambling on here, but I can't help but smile and think back on this day and so many of the days that I look forward to jumping in and sharing with you guys. So what do you guys think? Do you like this idea? Do you like this video format? Do you want to hear me blabbing about this, that, and the third as we sit back and relive, gosh, what seemed to me like the golden era of my trophy bass fishing career? And you know, the nice thing is I feel like we're getting ready to cycle back into a few years of good fishing, both Northern California and Southern California, and really nationwide and worldwide. Many of the things that I've learned the hard way through these kinds of experiences, I've been able to successfully apply to big bass throughout the country, and now new species throughout the country and the world. And it's much of the same concepts, many of the same mechanics, many of the same mental exercises and focus. I can eliminate many of the same mistakes, look back on my experience, and find perspective that we can apply to trophy bass fishing. So anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a comment. Big shout out to my man Dimension, big shout out to my man Rafael. I'd love to get those two to sit down so we could do a Big Bass Dreams podcast, actually. And I was trying to figure out who I could pair with Dimension, but I think Rafael actually would be the perfect guy. So please subscribe to this channel, leave a comment. Definitely please do turn on the notifications. This channel is small, but it's gonna grow. And I got faith in the audience, and I got faith that there is an audience that is looking for some next level content. You know, you don't need to fool you guys with clickbait. You don't need to fool you guys with thumbnails or some crazy man-eating, child abducting fish stories, because fishing is dope as it is, and we're here to show you guys. So thanks again, peace out, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Late.